I have spent hundreds of dollars at Shein. I was one of those people making the hauls, posting the videos, promoting their brand. Do I regret it? Hi guys, it's Light. Welcome back to my channel. Today's the day. We're finally gonna get into it, the nitty-gritty topic that is Shein. I've posted around 5 different videos showcasing all the stuff I've gotten there between Shein and their sister site Romwe. I'm completely aware of the discourse and the debate surrounding this brand, and for the most part, I've ignored the comments and the messages, but no longer. Do I support Shein? Well, let's talk about it. So, if you're on the internet at all, you have heard of Shein. Huge selection, dirt cheap prices, inclusive size range, and the most talked about brand on TikTok. You've probably also heard about the constant copyright infringement, the unethical labor practices, and their problematic designs. So, pretty much the stereotypical fast fashion brand, but on steroids. This topic is huge, and I have a lot to say considering I'm in direct involvement with it. So I broke it down into some more digestible sections. So we're gonna go over the microtrend epidemic, overconsumption and its aftermath, Shein's committee to approve products, unethical labor practices, and finally, morality and who is at fault. Is it me? Is it you? Is it capitalism? Let's find out. So fast fashion. Fast fashion is basically when clothes from celebrity culture or high fashion are sampled, made cheaply, massively produced as fast as possible so normal people can buy it up and wear it before the trend dies. And once the trend does die, it usually gets discarded. Fast fashion is not new. Pretty much every brand you can think of is fast fashion. Not every brand, just like every brand in the mall. Fast fashion has been around since manufacturing became easier and cheaper, probably around the 80s and 90s. Clothes going in and out of style a lot faster than they did before, so consumption was on the rise, baby. And with the internet, it kind of only escalated things because it made it a lot more accessible to the average Joe. YouTube hauls amassed millions of views and billions of dollars for these corporations, so I am no stranger to this. When I first started posting videos, posting about fashion was not on my radar, which is weird because I love fashion, but that was not something I ever even thought I would post on my channel. I think my first haul I did because I was out of ideas and I had recently bought some stuff from Shein, so I was like, screw it, let's put in a video just to get through this week's video. And that shit blew up. Well, at least for my channel standards, it blew up. And I was like, oh hey, I like fashion. These people like fashion, I could do this. Anyway, with the internet and people like me perpetuating the idea that you needed to buy more to keep up with the trends, shit was bad. How could it get any worse? Am I right? Then TikTok happened. So, I'm not exaggerating when I say TikTok was a cultural reset. One of the most detrimental things that came out of TikTok is the microtrend.
Everything is so ugly. It's so tacky. Why do you like that? Why do you buy ugly shit?
So previous generations, trends lasted 10, 15, 20 years. A long time. If I say, oh, the fashion from the 70s or the fashion from the 80s or the 20s, you know what I'm talking about. Because those entire decades kind of had what was trendy. It took place in the entire decade. Now, the turnover time for trends is just months, sometimes weeks. So went from 1 or 2 decades to a couple weeks, which is crazy to think about. In the future, people looking back on us now, what are we going to be known as? What is our style going to be? Probably something horrible.
How sad is it that something that was considered beautiful is considered outdated just 1 year later?
Anyway, TikTok is the death of fashion as we know it. Not the death of fashion, the death of fashion as we know it. Which I don't know if it's necessarily a bad thing because the trends are getting so close together. They're almost non-existent at this point, and if they keep escalating the way that they have been, eventually trends aren't going to exist anymore because no one can keep up with the trends that change day to day, and eventually we're all just going to be kind of forced to wear what we want and have our own personal style and not follow what we see someone on the internet doing. So That sounds like a win to me. So with the rise of the microtrend, fast fashion had to get faster. So Shein was born. They have pretty much everything that a young consumer wants. Cheap prices, thousands of new items daily, all kinds of aesthetics, inclusive size range, and an army of influencers armed with $100 hauls, encouraging you to buy more. As far as like money goes and business goes, Shein's business model is insane. Like they knew what they were doing and they did it well, and they did it with perfect timing during the pandemic. That's kind of when they blew up, when everyone was online scrolling a lot more, trying to waste time. And boy, did they get us good. In 2020, Shein was the most talked about brand on TikTok and on YouTube. They went from being worth $5 billion in 2019 to being worth $47 billion in 2021. That's only 2 years. That's crazy. So whatever, how does all of this relate? Shein is kind of the only brand right now that can support the micro trend. Is it fast fashion? Yes, but it's like faster fashion, rapid fashion, zoomy fashion. Other brands like their top competitors are Zara and H&M cannot keep up. Last year in 2022, Shein was worth more than both of them combined. So yeah, I say they're past being just fast fashion. That brings us right into overconsumption.
They are shortening their seasonal collections even more and taking or busting out micro-trend kind of clothing even more often and at a much faster rate than before. And that is genuinely concerning because we do not need to be consuming this much clothing.
With styles going in and out so quickly, people feel forced to keep buying new things, to keep up with the trends, to keep up with their friends and the influencers that they see online, which is bad enough in of itself, but most of the time the clothes that we buy end up getting discarded or donated, and when they get donated, they usually get discarded. In America alone, 11.3 million tons of textile waste end up in landfills, so clothes. And that's just on a yearly basis, which is very sad. I'm not here to judge anyone. I'm not here to lecture. I'm guilty myself. There's a lot of nuances to this. But one thing to think about is in fast fashion, a lot of the things that they make, one of the reasons they're so cheap is because they're made out of polyester or other plastic-based fibers. So that $2 Shein crop top that you threw away is going to be sitting in a landfill for the next 200 years. I don't know about you, but I don't want future generations knowing that we wore shit like this. Honestly, if this decade is going to be known for anything, it's going to be cringe. Come on, guys. We're better than this. So Shein and other brands obviously don't give a fuck. It's capitalism. It's whatever. It is what it is. But I went on the Shein website to do research. They actually, for real, are literally saying that they are moving towards being sustainable. Be fucking for real. They have a recycling program. They support the charities. They have emissions goals, and they insist that the way they produce clothing is better than other fast fashion brands and it produces less waste. I don't know. Let's look into it because I would love to feel better about my contribution to the death of our planet. So they claim to support charities. Let's see. Donated over 1.5 million. Okay, sure, you're worth 47 billion, but COVID Relief Fund, Black Lives Matter, racial equality, women empowerment, homeless community, climate change, at-risk youth, love all that. Donated 12,000 pieces of clothing to women in need. That's not a lot. I mean, it is, but for a brand of this volume. But okay, whatever. I like it. I support all those things. Go off. Their recycling program, let's look at that. An incentivizing recycling program that encourages customers to bring in unwanted clothes to pop-ups and college campus events in exchange for Shein gift cards. So they're not the ones recycling. They're encouraging us to do it. I'll bring in some old clothes for a gift card. Why not? Their emissions goals. Let's look at this. Thanks to our automated systems that optimize workflow and reduce energy and carbon emissions, meetings are kept to a minimum to conserve paper and electricity on our power and water. Okay, this is from businessoffashion.com. So to tackle its footprint, Shein will spend $7.6 million on a partnership with the nonprofit Apparel Impact Institute. The company plans to roll this out across more than 500 partner facilities and estimates it will result in a reduction of 1.25 million tons in greenhouse gas emissions each year. So they only produce 50 to 100 pieces per product, so no raw materials are wasted until it's in high demand. Okay. And then their printing process produces a fraction of the pollution of traditional screen printing. They do their best to source recycled fabric. Okay, so far, all that stuff, cool. I wouldn't say that any of these things make them a sustainable brand, but like I appreciate the effort. I appreciate it. Another really cool thing that they're doing that I only came across when I was doing this research, so it must be like super new, and it's definitely like them trying to win our affections back, is Shein Exchange. So it's like a separate platform from Shein where consumers like us, the buyers, can go on and sell our used Shein clothes that like we don't want or like didn't fit or whatever, and it makes it even cheaper than Shein prices. This is a whole other big topic that I actually would love to research. So if you want to make a video with me exploring and playing with that, make sure to like this video and leave a comment. So, committee to approve products. Shein's questionable review process. This is kind of an umbrella topic for a lot of problematic things that Shein has done. There's tons of videos out there deep diving into all of these issues. I'm not going to do that, but I am just going to like run through them real quick so we know what we're dealing with. So, Shein steals designs from smaller creators and designers. They're currently involved in several court cases where compensation is being discussed. I don't know, who knows. Still not okay to profit off of someone else's art. But I do think that's a much bigger problem than just Shein. It's kind of just another side effect of the internet that if you post stuff online, people can steal it. It sucks, but like it is what it is. I guess it's human nature to be a thief and to be a copycat. There's actually a TikToker that I really love. I think her name is Madeline. She has a series reviewing clothing websites and trying to see if there's anything shady with them, like if they use cheap labor, if they've stolen designs, things like that. And most of the time they have, which sucks. Like you would hope that people could take inspiration from your art and then create their own stuff. Like that's how all art is made. But to rip it off like completely, it sucks. I'm not an artist like that, but yeah, that would suck. Obviously, all those little online shops are a little different than having something stolen by Shein, because if they steal something and it sells well, they're gonna make millions off it. They've released statements apologizing, they've removed products, and they've created this program called Shein X, where smaller designers can be featured on their website, which I know what you're thinking. Sounds a little greenwashy, kind of like they're just trying to get our attention off of their thievery and onto like, oh, look, but we uplift small designers. But in all honesty, if I was one of these designers, that would be pretty cool because Shein is huge, a $47 billion company. It'd be good exposure, right? I mean, Shein's still getting something out of it. They still get free designs and they're still making money, but at least now the designer gets credit for it, right? I don't know. I try to see the silver lining in things. While reviewing their website, I also came across this little number, respecting intellectual property, and they've devoted substantial resources to address it. I do hope that the substantial resources that they have devoted to this is enough to put a stop to it though. Next, and probably like the biggest part of the Shein drama, is Shein keeps fucking up in like major ways. They've sold products with obviously racist imagery on it. They've sold a swastika necklace and they've sold prayer mats. Again, they released apologies. They took the items down and said that they formed a product review committee. So this is where I think the issue has been all along. Shein has tens of thousands of items being posted every single day, and it's not from like one central location. Shein has thousands of manufacturers. It's spread across many different businesses, and I don't know anything about like the business of fashion and what goes into it, but I do know a team of that volume, shit has to fall through the cracks. Is that an excuse? No, because retailers that are just as big, Amazon, Walmart, Target, I don't think I've ever seen them sell a swastika. I don't know where the disconnect is there, Shein. It's just straight up neglect and not taking the time to review all the products and kind of just focusing on getting as many products online as possible. But when you are a worldwide brand, you kind of have to have the product review committee. You have to have someone going through each and every item, making sure that it's not horrible. I haven't heard of any new problematic designs since that statement came out, so hopefully that is the end of it. One can only hope. It is insane that something so severe could be overlooked because it didn't have to go through just one person. Like multiple people had to be involved to make this, manufacture it, list it, sell it, package it. And no one was like, hey, this maybe is not that chill. That's just crazy to me. But speaking of the people that are involved in this Shein machine, we're going to get into Shein's labor practices.
So each worker needs to make a minimum of 500 garments a day, and it often takes 18 hours to get it done. They get paid on average 4 cents a garment.
So fast fashion exists because of cheap labor. No denying that. Shein's not the only one guilty, but again, they're a huge company, so it's kind of like fast fashion on steroids. While researching, I found this comment from a Reddit user. As someone who lives in China and whose family are in the textile business, I am very close to the fact that Shein mistreats workers. Not regular low wages in poor countries, which is common among all affordable brands, but true labor violations. Shein is not a brand like Torrid. It's an online platform that sources from various suppliers, which is why there's zero size consistency. So there's even less oversight than other Chinese companies. In the past few months, we've seen more videos of factory managers taunting migrant staff by only paying them 70 cents per hour. If you can afford anything better, please avoid Shein. So videos started popping up of people finding cries of help on their Shein tags. From what I found online, it's all been debunked. None of it is true. None of it can be proven. Urban legend debunker site Snopes found that there is no evidence that most of the tags featured in these images are real, and the ones that are from viral news stories about other companies, not Shein. The help me on the receipt, for instance, was an item sold by Chinese brand Romwe, and the receipt was for a product called a help me bookmark. In other words, it wasn't a hidden message, it was the name of the product itself. Shein knows what we all think and what we all suspect. So, for no reason at all, they posted this video to their socials.
Ever wondered how your Shein order gets from your cart to your doorstep? We visited one of Shein's warehouses over Black Friday to see how our team sends thousands of orders around the world. Let's go check it out.
Okay, I had to speed this whole thing up because this was like a 35-minute video. Not really, but it really took so long. And it's basically just showing you like one of their warehouses, how they pick and pack and send it off to you. And it's pretty average, so I'm not going to make you look through it. If you do want to watch it, it's on their TikTok. So sure, this particular warehouse seems fine, typical picking, packing job, whatever, but that's not where the cheap labor is. That's not where the complaints are coming from. This reminds me of like a shady ex-boyfriend that's just like dodging the question. The unethical labor practices are coming from your manufacturers overseas. The thousands of manufacturers that you obviously don't have any supervision or standards for, or at least you didn't before. This is on Hong Kong CNN Business, where they say Shein plans to invest $15 million to improve working conditions at factories in its supply chain. The money will be spent over the next 3 to 4 years to physically upgrade the factories. Shein said the audits have been carried out by independent experts and refuted most of the allegations. But it does show that workers at 2 of its suppliers were working longer hours than allowed under local rules. Shein has said that it has reduced orders from those 2 producers by 3/4 in the interim until they get their shit together. So like they're doing the things. But the thing is they're doing them after they got caught, like after there's an uproar about it. So it's a little shady. Again, this seems like an issue of Shein being bigger than they can handle. It seems like they didn't expect to blow up the way they did. So maybe they were signing on manufacturers without doing their research, without making sure that it was up to code. And now they're trying to backtrack, clean up the mess, when if they had just taken the time, all of it could have been avoided. All of the racism, the plagiarism, all of the labor practices, it all could have been avoided if they had made sure it was okay in the first place. Okay, now that we know what's up, let's get to the good stuff. Am I a piece of shit for posting my Shein hauls, and should we be shopping there? Like I said, I'm a normal person. I don't have hundreds of dollars to blow. I can't be throwing my clothes out every other week when a new trend comes up. I shop at Shein because I'm broke. I love fashion. I have kind of a spending problem, and I'm plus size. And no matter where I buy from, it's not ethical. Being ethical is a privilege for people who have money. Now that brings up the phrase that there is no ethical consumption under capitalism, which I used to say a lot, but here's a video that changed my mind.
The phrase, "there's no ethical consumption under capitalism," is so misused on social media. It was originally used to lift the pressure off of being perfectly ethical because it doesn't exist, but now it's being used to reject any personal responsibility. While everything is unethical in some way, not everything is equally unethical. For example, a $500 fashion haul is not the same as buying a couple pieces and making them last for years, or thrifting in a corporate store that mistreats its workers. The impact is not the same.
Me not buying a few things from Shein isn't going to change China's labor practices, and it's not going to stop fast fashion. But if a lot of us stop, then maybe it would. I don't know anything. I'm a college dropout. All I know is that it's not poor people's fault that Shein is killing the planet and mistreating workers. Too often, we expect individuals to come up with solutions to our societal problems. We live in a society where the burden to fix an issue created by capitalism often falls down to the individual, making it seem like the issue can be fixed by a simple habit change rather than an overhaul of the whole system. The CEOs and investors of Shein, as well as the influencers and the celebrities that collaborate with these fast fashion brands, they are the main problem. The people that create haul video after haul video contribute to the desire to buy more. They create the demand and feed into the idea that if we get what they're buying, we could achieve some of their fame and wealth. Believe it or not, I agree with this statement. Am I a piece of shit for posting these hauls? Yes. First video, an accident. I never thought it would gain traction. I was completely unaware of the influence that freaking hauls have on other people. But when it did gain traction, I kept posting them because it's what got views, which is selfish, shallow, immoral, and really not something I want to be known for. Even if I do genuinely buy things from them because it's all I can afford and all that'll fit me, it's still not okay to post for thousands of other people to see. I still glorify the brand and I still spread their influence around the world. Even if I'm not like the biggest influencer, even if I didn't get the most views, I still got lots of views. I still showed lots of people and encourage them to go shop there. I am part of the problem and I will no longer be posting about their products. This is not me discouraging you. If Shein is all you can afford, if it's all that'll fit you, do you, girly. You are not the problem. I am the problem. I'm the problem. I'm fucking sorry. I'm also sorry if you really loved those videos. I still plan on doing fashion, just not Shein or Romwe. People are still gonna post $1,000 hauls. It may not make a difference that I stop posting them, but I would like to be able to say that I did my part. And I do encourage you to do your part, which is going to be different for everyone. If you can afford to buy ethically, then do that. If you have the means to take care of your clothes and wear them for as long as possible, do that. You don't have to have new clothes every season. That's really all we can expect each other to do. The rest is up to these corporations and the government. So let me know what you guys think, what your opinion of all of this is. I'd love to hear it. Fast fashion and the Shein monster needs to be talked about more. I know everyone's talking about it, but it needs to be talked about more. Thank you so much for watching through this video. I love you guys and I'll see you next time. Bye.